They never mentioned that the opening week of a new year carries more spiritual weight than the remaining months combined. People are encouraged to celebrate New Year's Day, enjoy the moment, and then slip back into routine life. But what no one explains is that the first 7 days quietly shape the direction of the entire year. My name is Andy from Accra, Ghana, and for 19 years I worked in dark spiritual practices that focus specifically on disrupting this very period. During those years, I came to understand a disturbing truth. In the unseen realm, January 1/7 is known as the Week of Foundations. Everything a person experiences in 2026 stands upon what is spiritually built in those early days. A weak foundation causes collapse. A strong one allows everything to stand firm. For many years, I targeted believers who celebrated powerfully on January 1, but became spiritually inactive immediately afterward. They assumed the battle was finished, when in reality, it had only begun. Tonight, I am sharing what I once used against people, not to harm, but to help you build a foundation that cannot be shaken. Before encountering Jesus Christ, I was part of what we called the Foundation Corruption Division, a network dedicated to weakening people's spiritual beginnings at the start of every new year. I was initiated at the age of 24 in Maseru through my uncle, who would often repeat a chilling principle: let them rejoice on the first day. We will destroy the remaining 6, and the entire year will fall with them. Day 1, January 1, becomes the day of laying the cornerstone. What you do on that day sets the spiritual direction of everything that follows. This is not merely a day of celebration. It is a day to pray, declare, and speak life into your year, establishing the first layer of your spiritual structure before anything else can be built upon it. January 2 is what I came to understand as the day of cleansing and separation. It is the moment when anything from the previous year that does not belong in 2026 must be removed from your life, your spirit, and your environment. Many people unknowingly carry emotional wounds, unresolved offenses, hidden sins, negative attachments, and even spiritual contamination from the year before. They pray intensely on January 1, but they walk into January 2 still holding on to the same burdens. And without cleansing, those unresolved matters become openings the enemy can exploit. On this day, a person must intentionally release what should not continue forward. It is a time to honestly confront mistakes, confess failures before God, and forgive those who cause pain, whether knowingly or unknowingly. It is also a day to rid your space of objects, memories, or influences that carry negative spiritual weight. Cleansing is not only inward, it is environmental, emotional, and spiritual. When this step is ignored, doors remain unclosed. I once observed a woman who prayed passionately on New Year's Day. She fasted, made bold declarations, and spoke confidently about breakthroughs ahead. But when January 2 arrived, she assumed the work was finished. She did not cleanse her heart from bitterness, nor did she remove questionable items she had kept from the previous year. Those unresolved matters became legal entry points in the spirit. Throughout the months that followed, her business suffered unexplained setbacks and financial decline. She could not understand why her January 1 prayers produced no lasting results, yet the truth was simple: the cleansing stage had been neglected. January 2 is not just another day, it is the day you purify your path before continuing the journey. If the first day lays the foundation stone, the second day ensures that nothing corrupted is built into it. Only after cleansing can the rest of the spiritual structure stand strong. January 30 is known as the day of sealing and covering. If the first day establishes the base and the second day purifies what remains, then the third day is when you secure everything you have laid so far. Sealing is about closing every spiritual doorway that could allow interference, confusion, or infiltration into your life, your family, your home, and your plans for the year ahead. It is the moment when you declare, through faith and prayer, that nothing contrary to God's will has permission to enter. On this day, a believer must be intentional about covering every area of life. Pray over your home, your workplace, your finances, your relationships, and even the unseen battles you may not yet be aware of. Many people do the work of cleansing, but forget to seal what has been cleansed, leaving spiritual windows open without realizing it. Sealing represents commitment, protection, and closure. It is an act that says, no unauthorized influence may enter here. I once observed a young couple who prayed diligently on January 1st and carried out cleansing on January 2 with great sincerity. But when January 3 arrived, they treated it as an ordinary day. They went to work, resumed their routines, and assumed everything was already secured. Spiritually, however, their home remained unsealed. Because of that open gap, a spirit of tension slowly entered their relationship. Minor disagreements grew into constant arguments, and what began as small misunderstandings eventually escalated into emotional distance and separation. Their foundation was strong, and their cleansing was sincere, but their lack of sealing created the one opening the enemy needed. January 3rd teaches us that spiritual progress must be protected, not assumed. Just as a house must have doors and locks after it is built, the soul must be sealed after it is cleansed. When you cover your life in prayer on this day, you are not only protecting what you have already built, you are preserving the stability of everything that will follow throughout the rest of the year. January 4 is recognized as the day of spiritual warfare and resistance. By this stage, a person has already laid a foundation, cleansed their life, and sealed what has been established. But this day reminds us that the enemy does not simply withdraw because progress has begun. January 4 is when you actively confront every negative plan, hidden opposition, or unseen force that intends to hinder your path in the coming year. It is not a day of passiveness. It is a day of intentional spiritual engagement. On this day, a believer must rise in prayer with determination and authority. It is a time to fast, if possible, to confront fear, and to declare that every scheme designed against your health, your peace, your finances, your relationships, and your destiny shall be dismantled before it can manifest. Warfare is not anger. It is disciplined, focused resistance. It is recognizing that progress must be defended. I once observed a school teacher who began the year with great discipline. He prayed deeply on January 1, cleansed his life on January 1, and sealed his home on January 3. But when January 4 arrived, he assumed the battle was already finished. He relaxed spiritually, believing the previous steps were enough. That day, unseen attacks were launched against him, confusion in his mind, unexpected sickness in his body, and financial difficulties that slowly grew over time. These issues lingered throughout the year because he did not confront them at the stage when they were still forming. January 4 teaches an important truth. Unopposed attacks gain strength. When you fight early, you stop problems before they become reality. When you ignore warfare, Small seeds turn into lifelong struggles. This day exists so that every hidden assignment against your progress is canceled before it can take shape. To build a strong year, one must not only create and protect, one must also stand and fight when necessary. Warfare on this day is not about fear. It is about ensuring that what you have built remains secure and unchallenged as you continue your journey through the rest of the year. January 5 is known as the day of blessing, declaration, and alignment. After the first 4 days of building, cleansing, sealing, and resisting opposition, this day focuses on shaping the atmosphere of your year through the words you speak. Words carry power. They create direction, influence outcomes, and can either strengthen or weaken the very foundation you have worked to establish. January 5 is the day when you intentionally speak life into every area of your journey ahead. On this day, a believer should consciously declare goodness and possibility over their future. Speak favor over your work, peace over your home, strength over your health, increase over your finances, and clarity over your decisions. This is not ordinary positive speech. It is deliberate spiritual alignment. When words agree with faith and purpose, they reinforce the path ahead. When words are careless, fearful, or negative, they work against what has already been built. I once observed a woman who followed the first 4 days with great discipline. She prayed faithfully on January 1, cleansed her life on January 2, sealed her environment on January 3, and engaged in warfare on January 4. But when January 5 arrived, she relaxed her awareness. Instead of declaring blessings, she began to complain about her challenges, worry about finances, and speak negatively about her future. Without realizing it, her own words created limits. Throughout the year, much of what she confessed with frustration slowly unfolded in reality, not because her foundation was weak, but because her speech worked against it. January 5 teaches us that the tongue reinforces the direction of the soul. A strong foundation requires strong declarations. Blessing is not merely emotional encouragement. It is spiritual architecture, shaping unseen structure before it becomes visible. On this day, every statement you make becomes a seed planted into the future. To protect your progress, you must not only pray and fight, you must also speak life with intention. When your words agree with faith, you strengthen everything you have built and invite favor to rest upon the months ahead. January 6 is known as the day of covering and divine protection. By this stage, the spiritual structure of the year has been shaped. The foundation has been laid. The heart has been cleansed. The life has been sealed. Warfare has been engaged, and blessings have been spoken. Yet even a strong structure must be guarded. January 6 reminds us that progress must be shielded from unforeseen danger, spiritual attacks, and the vulnerabilities that life may present throughout the year. This day is devoted to praying for safety, preservation, and guidance, not just for yourself, but for your family, your home, your travels, and everything connected to you. It is a time to pray for divine protection over your health, your mind, your relationships, your work, and the places you go. It is not fear-driven, it is wisdom. Just as a city needs walls and watchmen, a person's life needs spiritual covering. I once observed a family whose leader followed the first 5 days with commitment and seriousness. He laid the foundation on January 1, cleansed his life on January 2, sealed his home on January 3rd, fought spiritually on January 4, and declared blessings on January 5. But on January 6, he overlooked the importance of praying for protection. he assumed the previous efforts were enough. Over the months that followed, unexpected accidents, losses, and misfortunes affected members of his household. None of these events were random. They were openings that could have been closed through intentional covering. January 6 teaches a vital truth. What is not protected remains exposed. Protection is not merely about safety, it is about securing peace, stability, and continuity throughout the year. When you ask God to surround your life with divine covering, you are strengthening the boundaries of everything you have built so far. This day reminds us that success is not only created through effort, it is also preserved through protection. To sustain your progress, you must not only build wisely and speak faithfully, but also entrust your life and your family into God's safeguarding presence for the journey ahead. January 7 is known as the Day of Gratitude, Completion, and sealing the journey with thanksgiving. After 6 days of intentional spiritual work, laying a foundation, cleansing, sealing, waging warfare, declaring blessings, and praying for protection. The reason the first 7 days of the year carry such profound importance is because they quietly establish the spiritual rhythm and direction of everything that follows. Just as a building depends on the strength of its foundation, a person's year rests on the structure they laid during this opening week. Wisdom teaches that nothing stable is built by chance. Strength, clarity, and endurance are the result of intention. These 7 days form a blueprint that influences decisions, behavior, faith, and resilience throughout the months ahead. After my deliverance and transformation, I finally understood that the same period I once misused for harm could instead become a powerful season of preparation and alignment for believers. The first week of the year is not meant to be casual. It is meant to be strategic, prayerful, and deeply purposeful. When each day is used with intention, the year is built on stability instead of uncertainty. These 7 days are not rituals. They are disciplines of the heart. Day 1 strengthens vision through prayer and declaration. Day 2 removes burdens and cleanses what must not continue forward. Day 3 seals and secures the life and environment. Day 4 confronts unseen opposition before it can grow. Day 5 aligns the future through words of blessing and faith. Day 6 places every step of the journey under divine protection. Day 7 seals everything with gratitude and trust. Those who walk through this process with sincerity do not merely prepare for a year, they prepare for consistency, stability, and spiritual growth. The goal is not perfection. The goal is awareness, discipline, and intentional connection with God at the very beginning. As you move into the rest of 2026, carry this understanding with you. A strong year does not begin accidentally. It is built deliberately. When the first week is honored, the rest of the year stands on a foundation that cannot easily be shaken. Let every step you take from this point forward reflect wisdom, faith, and purposeful living. May your foundation be firm, your path be guided, and your year unfold with strength and divine direction. Beyond the understanding of these 7 foundational days, there is also the call to live with intention throughout the rest of the year. The first week sets the direction, but the months that follow are where discipline, faith, and consistency must continue to grow. A year is not shaped only by moments of prayer. It is shaped by the habits and choices that flow from them. What you build in the first week must be carried forward through your lifestyle, mindset, and spiritual awareness. From that point onward, each decision becomes part of the structure you began to establish. Your commitment to prayer strengthens the foundation. Your willingness to forgive protects your heart from bitterness. Your discipline to speak life guards your future from self-sabotage.
Every prayer spoken in the opening week becomes a reminder of direction. Every act of cleansing, sealing, and blessing becomes a commitment to growth. Every declaration of protection and gratitude becomes a promise to live with trust and confidence rather than fear or uncertainty. These acts are not isolated experiences, they are markers of identity, shaping who you are becoming throughout the year. A person who begins the year with intention but drifts into carelessness loses the benefit of the foundation they built. But one who remains watchful, disciplined, and spiritually conscious transforms the lessons of the first week into a lifestyle. Progress is not measured only by success, but by resilience, by the ability to rise, reset, and realign whenever challenges appear. As you move forward, carry this assurance. You do not walk into the months ahead unprepared. You walk with a foundation already laid, a vision already spoken, and a covering already declared. Let your choices, your words, and your faith remain connected to that beginning. When you do so, every season of the year, whether joyful, challenging, or uncertain, becomes an opportunity to strengthen what has already been built. May your journey through the rest of the year reflect wisdom, steadiness, and unwavering hope. And may the foundation you create not only support your plans, but also shape your character, your faith, and your destiny in ways that continue far beyond the months ahead.